Kasi what we were talking about a while ago is our positioning with this superpowers, with the Americans.
Yes.
So how can you use that doon sa Asian financial crisis?
Well, I'm just giving you an example. If you are looking at
you have to
now,
demonstrate our position during the Asian financial crisis in relation to a superpower.
Yes.
That's not us.
yes,
Not us time.
you have to give me my explanation. with
Okay,
regards
go.
to
Yeah,
that,
I
because
just
that is a
wanted to
very
go
big
that
thing
way.
that happened.
Oo, kasi I just wanted to go that way kasi tinatanong kita kanina. Sabi mo, policy natin, yung positioning natin as a country, local. But we're not talking about local. Di ba ang pinag-uusapan natin?
Well, I'm not talking about
Positioning
local.
relations,
That's why the Asian financial crisis was not local. It is an international event. Every country
Yes,
was
but our
affected.
policy
Trade was
it
affected.
is local, di ba?
It's not local. It's international. We're not the one only being
International
affected.
yung crisis.
International
But how
nga.
did we survive? Oh, how
How
did
we survived?
Oh.
First and foremost, the policies of the government with regards to finances.
Exactly.
Secondly,
who did that?
the government
Is
has created our...
Is it an international policy or is it our policy we created for ourselves?
Well, the policy to avert these kinds of menace
then
or
that's not
problems
positioning.
will be
That's
coming
not
within the
our
government.
decision. Nagets mo ba
The
yun?
decision was from the government. That's why we are unscathed. The banks were saved.
So ngayon, Joan, eto, kaya nag-interject kanina kasi alam ko na mawawala eh. Alam ko na mawawala.
Hindi ako nagwawala.
No.
Ang sinasabi ko sa'yo,
Mawawala.
may it be
Positioning that we are
tinatawag na
talking
an
about-
international
No.
crisis.
Wait lang, Yuan. The positioning that we are talking about is our position in relation to a global power. Yun yung start ng conversation natin eh, di ba? Yun yung start ng conversation natin.
Yes.
Ngayon, sabi mo, because of our positioning, which means positioning with the global superpower, it bought us time. And so what I said is, I do not really see that as something very special for the Philippines as a country. Because our global positioning with superpowers fuck us up as a country. Now, I said several examples na kung bakit hindi yun maganda kasi nag-reflect doon sa development natin. Atrasado tayo dahil sa kakahimod natin ng puwet ng Amerikano. We're not really getting the full potential of our country. Ngayon, ang sinasabi mo, ang evidence ng positioning
One
na
of
hindi
the
maganda,
not evidence, an example of the way the government
No,
works.
yun yung napabago-bago na tayo eh.
Hindi, binigay ko lang Asian financial crisis because I'm giving you how the government of the Philippines acts on it and averts a bigger problem.
Has it something to do with positioning with global power? Yes or
Yes,
no?
because the internal
Yes,
policies of the
yes,
government
tayo.
reflects its
Answer
action.
How is our positioning that time with global power help us?
Well, because the Asian financial crisis, I'm giving an example. You have to give me time to explain it. The Asian financial crisis was a devastating event. It affected Europe and the United States.
We know.
And not only the United States, even the Southeast Asian nations, and at the same time South America and different parts of the countries all around the world. It's a big event.
We know, Yuan. Yes.
Yeah. So does it even the United States
So where's
Treasury?
the positioning with global superpower that help
Yes,
us?
because we have to adjust policies within us before we can reflect our position to the world. That's why the banks were saved, industries were saved.
And what save us is our positioning with global superpower save us, or is it our banking system that saved us?
No, the Banco
Answer.
Central is an international also organization. It's a member of the
Kaya
international
nga tayo
organization.
na-awardan the best banking system because of that. Because the
Yes, because we have to defend ourselves with the reverberated actions of financial losses.
Ang dami mong palabok yung Hindi ka na nagiging.
Wala akong palabok, hindi mo naiintindihan yung sinasabi ko lang. I'm not here to argue. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, an international event, especially that, should act within its country first.
It's an international event. Lahat tayo naiintindihan natin, international event siya. Wala naman
Oo nga, sinasabi ko nga sa'yo, kasi nga, dinideduce mo sa akin na local yon. Kailangan mo na mag-act na locally ang country before it has a position.
Ang gulong kausap.
Hindi nyo naiintindihan kasi yung
Asian financial crisis
policies.
kasama yung North America saka Europe. Ano ba? Natutukan tayo, hindi totoo yun. Asian financial crisis sa Southeast Asia na apektado nun. Nung time na yun.
Ay, nako.
Ayun. Hello, si Haya.
Hi, Miss Joy. Maayong, what time is it? Buntag. Mention
Oo.
my name. Sino ba yung nag-mention ng name ko? Hindi ko nabasa yung chat eh. Pero, speaking about history,
Mm.
so yung mga anti-China dyan, yung mga xenophobic, bigyan ko kayo ng recent history. So, merong diplomat yung no, ambassador, yung US, si J. Stapleton Roy, sa China. Tapos sinabi niya kay Kishore Mubabani, kasi Kishore Mubabani wrote a book, yung Has China Won? And he was doing a research, and he said that when President Xi and Obama met during Obama's time,
Mm.
Obama raised up the issue of the South China Sea daw. Kasi sabi niya, bakit kayo aggressive sa South China Sea? Ganon-ganon.
Mm.
So sabi ni President Xi, is that an issue for you ba? O sige, i-demilitarize natin yung South China Sea. Lahat tayo, both countries,
Mm.
especially. Hindi pumayag si Obama. And instead, what he did is that he increased the naval patrol sa area sa South China Sea.
Mm.
So if the US was really interested in the safety of this region, edi sana pumayag siya doon.
Mm.
Ngayon, ginagawa naman tayong panglaban nila.
Ginagawang pawn.
Pawn. At guys, may Exhibit A yung Ukraine. Paulit-ulit yan. May Ukraine example
Exhibit
na
B.
hindi pa kayo na
Israel, Palestine.
Yes, exactly. Ayan, genocide. Pero hindi naman kayo naniniwala kasi believe na believe kayo sa Israel. Pero yung Ukraine, 500,000 military men are dead. Gusto nyo yan sa Pinas. O sige, go. Pero ang tapang-tapang niyo, makasabi kayo ng pero when it comes to an actual war, wala nga kayong military, wala nga ng military training yung Pinas, buti pa yung Thailand, kaya binubog yung trans natin, di ba? Kaya naiinis ako ng mga taong nagsasabing, we are anti-war. I'm very anti-war. And if you know the history talaga of how the US, for example, pursue the our military, 'di ba? Hindi 'di ba yung before tayo binigyan ng independence ng US, they didn't want to give us independence kasi pinupush nila yung military bases dito sa Pinas. Pumayag lang yung Pinas, nag-change lang yung decision ng Pinas after World War II kasi because of the war. Pero yung MDT talaga is highly rooted in our colonial history with the US. So kung yung bilib na bilib kayo dyan sa colonial master nyo na mga Amerikano, edi kayo na. Pero wag mo kaming lahat-latin mga Pilipino na, we got out of our colonial mentality.
Mm.
Nakakaawa kayo kasi mga papi pa rin kayo ng US.
Oo. Pag-usapan natin, bakit kayo bilib na bilib pa rin sa US hanggang ngayon? Diba? I-process natin yung colonial mentality ninyo. Kasi, baka naman kasi kailangan nyo ng kausap na magdi-debrief. Alam mo yan si Haya, sa totoo lang, kaya rin ganito tong mga to. Kasi hindi pa sila nadi-debrief eh. Remnants pa rin sila ng war eh. Sa utak nila. Ayun. Kailangan nyo ma-debrief. Kailangan yung ma-real talk ng Amerika is not interested in saving you.
Kailangan mo kasing mag-dig deeper mga lazy, mga tapulan. Mga tapulan. Tsaka yung may latest news pa, Miss Joy, sabi nung, sino ba, yung ambassador ata ng US dito, that they will increase, the US will increase their maritime, they will fly and mga ships nila dito daw sa South China Sea to safeguard daw the Southeast Asian, ASEAN countries.
Mga feeling
yung presence nga nila yung nag-escalate ng...
Escalate, oo. Diyos me. Yung presence nila yung nag-escalate at pagkatapos, yung tanga mong presidente, payag na payag.
O tsaka yung EDCA ngayon, diba dapat
How many
to
EDCA
deter?
sites do we have right now? Diba the plan daw for for allegedly, ang plan is to complete 17 EDCA sites.
Ewan ko sa kanila, kaloka sila. Maybe secretly. At saka yung mga pro-China, mga ano dyan, nagsasabi mga bayaran daw kami ng
updates, akyat ka. Bilis, pag-usapan natin yan.
Send
Pag-usapan
me
natin
updates. Alam mo yung nagsusulhol ng ano natin ngayon, ng foreign policy natin ngayon, Amerikano, o bilib na bilib ka niyan. Nakakaawa ka.
Mm-hmm.
Hindi ka Pilipino. Hindi ka ba nahihiya?
Sa TV updates, bakit mo ni-reject yung invite ko sa'yo? Oh, hindi ka proud na paglaban yung pinaglalaban mo? 'Di ba? Bilis. I-grill mo kaming mga kumampi sa China. Bilis. Bilis, kasi kami ready kami na ipakita dito kung bakit bulok yung argument mo. O sa TV updates, I sent an invite. Why did you reject? Hindi ka bilib dyan sa stand mo? Sa TV updates? Ba't mo ni-reject yung invite ko? Akala ko ba, no to fake news ka? Send TV updates. Diyos me. We're going to demonstrate why you are fake news. Ano na? I sent an invite. Why did you reject?
Last note, Miss Joya. So, in connection to yung Obama declined President Xi's offer to demilitarize the South China Sea and instead increase the naval patrols, doon na nagsimula China built yung mga artificial islands. Yan yung reaction nila. So,
Doon na nag-escalate talaga.
Yung mga, ang ingay-ingay na nagsasabing mga pro-China kami.
Correct. Si Haya, dito, before ka bumaba, let's talk about yung participation ng US sa Ukraine at saka participation ng US sa Israel-Palestine conflict.
Yeah, it's been proven. May German leaks ngayon. Especially now, kasi Miss Joy, they are trying to end this conflict with Ukraine, Russia, kasi wala na silang budget. So, lumalabas na yung mga information that Western media, especially Guardian, they are covering it na ngayon. Western media was trying to hide, like, may mga CIA outposts dun sa Ukraine for a very long time, and you have Victoria Nuland, who was, siya yung gumawa ng paraan para the 2014 Maidan protests would happen. May din siya, may voice recording leak din siya to prove that she was the person responsible for directing Ukraine into a direction na si Zelensky yung mananalo and all that. And so, marami. You just need to dig deeper, no? There's a lot of US connection that they were trying to hide. Media kasi was trying to say that the Russia is just attacking Ukraine without provocation. It turns out there has been a lot of provocation, starting with yung verbal agreement with NATO and the Soviet USSR before.
US is basically funding Ukraine's war. 75 billion ang dinirect ng Joe Biden administration as in a form of assistance to Ukraine. Meron akong data dito This is coming from Council on Foreign Relations. It says here that per Kiel Institute of World Economy, 75 billion in assistance ang binigay ng US sa Ukraine. 74.3 billion, 1.6 billion humanitarian, financial 26.4 billion. These are economic support fund loans and other financial support related rin dun sa war. Security assistance 18.3 billion dollars. Weapons and equipment, $23.5 billion. Grants and loans for weapons and equipment, $4.5 billion.
It also came out from Victoria Nuland's mouth din. Sinabi na niya na the helping sending money to Ukraine is also helping the US economy daw kasi it would help the jobs in the manufacture and the weapons manufacturing industry, yung mga ganun. Ayan, ang dami na. There's very clear proof that the US was provoking Russia through Ukraine. So, nauto nila yung Ukraine, the same as
Nauto
inuuto
nila
nila
yung
ngayon.
dun sa war na
tayo ngayon.
naman. Pagkatapos may mga, matatapos yung war sa Ukraine. 26 billion out of this is loans. Well, I'm pretty sure yung iba dyan, loans rin yung mga assistance yan. Babayaran yan ng Ukraine sa US.
Yeah. Galit na yung mga tao.
Yung bansa nila, may utang pa sila sa US.
Galit na yung mga tao kay Zelensky. That's why it's like hiding or something.
Gladiator 80831. Pagka sasabihin mo kami ang utu-uto, kompletuhin mo, umakyat ka. Ayun. Umakyat ka.
Carte info shorts, it's way before that. Kasi 2014 yung parang color revolution sa Ukraine. It's way before that. Ngayon naman, tingnan mo, Miss Joy, let's just give the example of Palestine-Israel. It's a clear genocide. 30,000 plus are dead, 10,000 of that are children. The children are being massacred. But yung nagbablock lang ng ceasefire is yung US. Look how concerned they are to the safety of other places region, no? Hindi nga sila concerned sa safety ng Middle East, concerned sila dito sa atin.
USA to Israel naman. The reason why we're talking about this is because I want you to understand yung participation ng US dito sa pagkawasak nitong mga bansang to, Di ba, ang Israel ngayon, pinupulbos niya yung Palestine. Ang binigay ng pera ng United States sa Israel, well, yung all-time nila na contribution is 300 billion. 300 billion dollars. Grabe, no? Pero yung recent, ito nang nagkagulo, yung sumabog na nga yung gulo doon, 14 billion ang binigay ng US na
So, Miss
assistance.
Joy, let's go for a little further than mga 20 years ago. Yung history ng Israel, especially, and yung connection niya and how it created the terrorists that we have now in our modern times, yung naabutan nating mga terrorists. Israel's creation, especially yung Nakba, inspired a lot of mga Muslim groups to become radicalized. It inspired Saddam sino ba yun yung anak na not Saddam Hussein. Sorry, nabubulol ako. Osama bin Laden. It inspired Osama bin Laden. Yung atrocities that the world just ignored na ginawa ng Israel sa mga Palestinian inspired a lot of those terrorists. What atrocities, for example, may video niyan, tingnan nyo lang, yung mga retired military from Israel, they were boasting, my interview said, they were boasting about how they raped women from these villages, mga 14-year-old girls, they were raping and they put them in cages and then they burned them. Oh, yan yung mga sinusuportahan yung IDF. They're boasting, they grew up old with those crimes and still boasted about it. So yan lang, parang the whole terrorism is in connection to Israel and the US is funding Israel now. And they're blocking this genocide na sobrang clear na nangyayari, and you want them to back us up in this region. Paano yan yung Taiwan? Anong gagawin niyo sa Taiwan? The US like Taiwan more than the Philippines. Will Taiwan stop with their claim ba? Kung matatapos yung China, if ever, ang laki-laki ng China, ang lakas ng military nila.
Oh, if merong gustong i-save ang Amerika sa South China Sea region, sa South, dito sa region natin, Taiwan yun, di tayo. Kasi kung gusto nila i-save yung Taiwan, di ba, dapat, may basis ba may basis ba ang Amerika sa Taiwan? May presence ba sila dun?
Meron, they even put up, yung latest news is they put some US military yung sa island talaga na super lapit sa China mainland.
Talaga. Pero hindi sa Taiwan mismo. Because I don't think they will be allowed, no? Sabi ni
Parang
Yuan
lang,
Almasis
partnership
like
lang.
this. Tingnan nga natin. I-search ko lang ng bonggang-bongga. US base in Taiwan. Is there a US base in Taiwan? Parang meron, pero dating-dati pa to. Yung pa to, 70s pa. Teka.
Parang meron, Miss Joy, but it's like unofficial. Kasi
Oo.
it's not considered a country, di ba?
Oo.
Miss Joy, nabubulol ako. Sorry.
Carry lang.
Tagalog and English today.
US gets Kang Air Base. Pero hindi naman to American Hindi naman to American Air Base.
Walang US base at
Oo. Code, no, yung Kang Air Base, ginamit ng American soldiers nung time nung Cold War. Teka, ito. 60, 61, 1969. 1979, wali na. 1979, wali na sila doon.
parang para sa atin, like, military exercise sila or something like that.
Pero meron yata mga ganun, yung mga military exercise with their,
May nagtanong kasi, is there a base in Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam? Wala po. Especially Vietnam. They don't allow that in their constitution. What's your take on Russian nuclear threat? Putin is not bluffing. So, ang US kasi, Miss Joy, mahilig mag-bluff, no, when it comes to mga ganyan-ganyan. Pero, parang, Putin is a serious person. Hindi siya yung, hindi siya kagaya ng mga presidents ng US. So, but he's also not stupid. So, I don't think we will get to that,
Sure, Don. Sige nga, akyat ka po. Sabihin mo po sa amin exactly kung bakit kami nonsense. If you're going to say something that is more sensical kesa sa amin, sige, mag-end live ako, sure, Don. Okay ba yon? Deal or no deal? Deal or no deal? Sige na, akyat ka na. Pagtingnan natin kung mas may sense yung sasabihin mo. O pag may mas sense yung sasabihin mo, mag-end live ako. Now is your chance.
Miss Joy, do you think we are in World War III already? Pakinggan niyo si Jeffrey Sachs niyan. May maganda siyang answer when he said na, a world war doesn't happen like in an instant. It starts with a couple of countries and then another country would back it up. So may mga points na, 'di ba? May Ukraine, may Israel, and so we don't really know what's gonna happen sa Israel and others. Meron pa dito. So,
Jeffrey Sachs, Joanna D. Jeffrey Sachs. Sabi niya si Jeffree Star. Hindi yung makeup guru. Ano ba?
Hindi si Joanna. Jeffrey Sachs po. He's a
Jeff
very good
Sachs. Mhm.
geopolitical analyst kasi may ano siya, consultant siya ng Russia in that
Before.
area before. So he
Meron
knows
siyang,
uh,
mm,
may ano siya, may first-hand account siya sa history talaga, like in the
mm,
90s.
mm. So, privy siya dun sa mga deals, sa mga negotiation, mga ganun.
Yeah, mga in
Ayun.
and outs ng mga
Mm.
policies na ginawa before
Oo.
and how it affected the modern time. Yun lang po, Miss Joy. Baba na ako. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you si Haya. Ayun. Ano ni? Yung mga ano dyan, akala ko yung makeup art. Marami pong World War III for me in terms of material man and money cost. Taiwan wants to secede from China, sabi ni Potion Pot. Paano mo alam? Nabilang mo po ang adhikain ng bawat isang Taiwanese at ang tinitibok ng kanilang puso? Ayun, can I join po? Go lang, Yuan. Ayan. Hello, Yuan.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Joie.
Ayan. Sige po, ano pong gusto nyong i-share?
Well, I just want to comment about first muna. Let's start with the last one na sinabi natin about the actions of the United States versus everybody else.
Mm-mm.
I think, with regards to Ukraine, it's been done since the 90s after the decimation of the Russian Federation, USSR. And it was a wrong deal from the Russian part. So the plan of the US was to have all the necessary materials and at the same time minerals within Russia, and was to be controlled by certain corporations that are allied to the US government, specifically Ukraine, which is the buffer zone of the eastern part of Russia, of Europe within Russia's territory. So I think they are just messing up the balance of the powers that should have been balanced already after World War II. And yes, there are a lot of comments with regards to the intentions of which, but because Russia has become a threat after Putin has succeeded, the position of president of the
Become a
new
threat
Russia.
because Putin becomes a threat?
Yes, he is a threat. To them, he is a threat. That's
For the
why
Americans.
he has to be put down by the US. Yun ang point of view ko doon. Politically, because number one, Putin is a strong man. The United States doesn't like a strong man. He's controlling a large portion of the of land also that stretches from Europe to Asia.
Teka lang, Yuan, babatiin ko lang yung kapitan namin dyan. Hi, Cap! Hello, Cap George. Ayun.
Ano, masyado kang babad sa American purpose. I'm not.
I think yung sinasabi ni Yuan na yung sinasabi ni basically rin naman yung sinasabi ni Jeffrey Sachs na yung mga Americans kasi, they wanted to keep it like parang bipolar world. You have to maintain like an image that you have an enemy. And that enemy image is Russia. Doon ka ba papunta, Yuan?
Yes, it is.
Yun, oo, yun. So, kumbaga, parang yun ang press release na storya. Yun ang press release na storya na even after nung Cold War, you will still have to maintain an idea that the Americans is fighting for something na may kaaway ka. So, you cannot be, kaya nga hindi nila ina-accept sa NATO yan eh. Kasi, pagka ina-accept ka na naman sa NATO, sino nang kalaban?
Totoo.
Wala na. Diba?
And besides, one thing is for sure, one of the biggest industries in the United States is, weapons. The weapons industry of the United States. We supplied most of the bullets and guns around the world. And if you will destroy their industry, the income of the government will pull down. A lot of industries will be closed off. So there should be certain isolated wars in different parts and corners of the world for you to maintain hegemony on the powers that you are vested upon after World War II, because you want to have an hegemony within the one world policy. So if you are going to do that, it's based also on the idea of controlling you and maintaining your position in world politics and economy. That's how it is. To maintain which is to have status quo within the reach of your powers beyond every corner of the world.
You can rally everyone because there is a perceived threat. Yung mga, well, that's one among many rally points na pwedeng gamitin ng US whenever they wanted to.
Yes, because the policy of the United States with regards to its military is deterrence of a threat. Any rising power like India, Philippines, or any countries that would assume a position nearest to the top will always be toppled down. Make the economics or things like that, political, and influence, trade, even commodities. That's how they do it. It's the American way of doing business, and they've been doing that for the past hundreds of years. So even before World War II, before the start of World War I was the predecessor of that World War I. It was also instigated by the United States. The downfall of the Russian Empire was instigated by the United States. So these are reasons in history that we have to put in mind, that even though the United States, as we see, is a powerful country, there are also flaws in the actions of the United States, which compounded several countries to detest the United States.
And kahit na, I don't think yung mga tao na anti-war, I rarely see people who wanted to cut ties with the Americans. That is never the call.
Yeah.
Yung mga galit na galit sa US, what they want, because US is very, very powerful, talaga namang very important pa rin naman sila to certain extent sa international stage. So you cannot really cut ties with them. Ang sinasabi lang is we recalibrate our relationship with the Americans because of the things that they had done in the past sa Pilipinas and in world stage. Why are other countries like Indonesia, India, they can do significant shift dun sa mga foreign policies nila and benefit from it na hindi American-centered. Diba? Ibig sabihin, while the US is very, very powerful, calibrating your relationship with the Americans, with the US, can prove to be beneficial. Why we are not doing that?
That's the question, But I'm seeing right now with the current government, even though some people or majority of which will detest my statement, is that it is all about positioning one's country in the interest of the country's survival in the next bouts of, war between different countries.
But if you're going to use that lens, you think we are banking on the right countries who's gonna survive?
It's not banking on it. We're banking on everybody. Don't forget that. The Philippines has a different way of looking at it, especially the Philippine government. Policy of the Philippine government right now, ever since the Republic was made, is to be neutral in its position, because we want to maintain our status quo with regards to our people all around the world. So we are also friends from North Korea. We're the only friend of North Korea. Even the United States has to, dial the number of the president of the Philippines before he can talk to Kim Jong-un. They have a direct contact with China in a telephone glance. The Philippines has that power to do that in different countries, even Russia. That is the power of diplomacy of the Philippines. You see, the powers of the Philippine president is very powerful. He can call any nation.
But we are not using
rally behind it.
right
It's
now.
not
eh,
only the
that's
United States,
problem.
even Great Britain has also
I think
is
there's
there. Australia is there.
there is
You
no
know,
debate.
Russia is there.
There is no debate as to the aspirational policy of the Philippines when it comes
Yes, but
to
the difference was that we are thinking one-sided with regards to the relationship of the Philippines towards the United States. It's not only one relationship. Filipinos mahilig yan sa kuyog. That's why tumahimik ang ASEAN because they don't have the power to call off and call out major powers. Yun ang difference ng Pilipinas. Even during World War II, we were the last to be conquered because we had a good relationship with Japan, even during the time of Quezon. That's how we do our business.
Teka. I do not see any advantage, sa totoo lang.
It's about positioning oneself to be, not to be in into the most disadvantaged position. You see, in the global politics, there are titans that you have to remember that are working.
I think us being, yung sinabi mo na, us being the last conquered country, we
In
were
Southeast Asia.
the most devastated country after World War II.
Well, the one who devastated us is the United
We are the
States.
first.
It's not even the Japanese. The bombing of Manila, second to Warsaw after World War II, was done by the United States, by napalm bomb.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me who did it, but
But the intent of which, why? Yun ang question.
Home.
Well, during that time, the Secretary of War of the United States, during the liberation of the Philippines,
I mean, you are talking about the Philippines positioning in the global stage. That is something that we do to our benefit. I do not really see how we benefited from our past decisions when it comes to positioning.
well, you see, there is different kinds of tactical way of doing it. And the Philippines chose a more somber approach.
We weren't really that I mean, sa real talk lang we fuck it up. As in,
Actually,
we fuck it up. So parang,
actually,
if we're going to
you
talk
will base
about
it on
the global
history.
position of the Philippines when it comes to foreign policy,
Well, if
we
you
are
would look at the
right now
history,
because of the bad decisions we did in the
which is
past.
recently, in our history, in the past 100 years, the Philippines was the last to be conquered.
But it did not
Southeast Asia.
benefit us.
Well, it gave us time.
Time to
Time
what?
is more important than just a
Time
window
for?
of opportunity.
Paano tayo naging last to be
No, we
conquered?
did not win any time. We are delayed in the development.
The Philippines was conquered
Sa
by
natin yan.
Japan. Underneath Japan is only at 2 to 3 years. The rest of the other countries are decades.
Decades of what?
Like China was underneath the Japanese for a decade.
How did China turn out?
Well, they destroyed Nanjing.
Yeah, but
Massacre
how
of
did China
Nanjing.
turn out? Again.
It was devastated during the time of Mao Zedong.
Yeah, but how did they turn out?
You have to remember that it was decimated.
Yeah, but where are they right now?
No, the difference was that China, together with some of the leaders of the Chinese, had devastating effects also to China itself.
Yeah, but did they lose time?
Well, China's been there for eons of time.
Teka lang.
I do not understand you, Ann.
Hindi ko rin maintindihan. Promise. Even yung last contact.
Oo, hindi ko maintindihan. At eto lang real talk lang. When it comes to foreign policy, it's almost, yun na yung pinag-complain ni Jose Pilaw rin nung dating-dati pa that our foreign policy is a mendicant foreign policy.
Well, we can say a lot of things.
I believe in that until this day, that Philippines do not have balls. So, if we're going to talk about global positioning or whatever global positioning we did or decisions that positioned our country, it did not do us anything good. Okay? Why did I say that? We are lagging behind development. We are lagging behind investment. We are lagging behind on any imaginable statistics. So no, we're doing a really, really terrible job in global positioning ourselves. So yun,
So the evidence there was what?
the evidence there was,
Was what?
when it comes to train, okay, yung mga kapitbahay natin,
Infrastructure.
we already have thousands and thousands of kilometers of railways, and we have less than 1,000 up until now. Sabay-sabay lang tayong nagtayo niyan. That's a very, very quantifiable, that's a very, very quantifiable example, and many other things. Before we are, shoulder to shoulder with Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, where are they now? In any possible statistical comparison, we're always last among these countries sa Southeast Asia. So,
Okay, yes.
ano yung better position? Ano yung
Well, one of the best
nabibigyan
evidences
natin?
I'll give
Because
you one
of the
evidence.
that we did in the past.
I'll give you one evidence, several evidence, how we survived, and at the same time was not even had a scar on us. The financial crisis during the time of the Asian financial crisis, the worst hit was Singapore and the rest of the Asian countries. The Philippines survived it unscathed because the policy of the government is that there are two phases of the Philippines. But if we're talking about economy,
sorry to interject, but the Asian financial crisis has nothing to do with global positioning. It has something to do with the fundamental.
no, it's about policies. It's
that
just
we
not
have.
positioning. It's policies of the government.
No,
Right
but
now.
we were talking about the diba, yung mga yung positioning natin that
Yes, because the
diba?
policies is the position of a government stands in an issue. Those policies reverberate the position of a country.
Na already. Kasi what we were talking about a while ago is our positioning with this superpowers, with the Americans.
Yes.
So how can you use that doon sa Asian financial crisis?
Well, I'm just giving you an example. If you are looking at
you have to
now,
demonstrate our position during the Asian financial crisis in relation to a superpower.
Yes.
That's not us.
yes,
Not us time.
you have to give me my explanation.
Okay,
because,
go. Yeah, I
because
just
that is a
wanted
very
to go
big
that
thing
way.
that happened.
Oo, kasi I just wanted to go that way kasi tinatanong kita kanina. Sabi mo, policy natin, yung positioning natin as a country, local. But we're not talking about local. Di ba ang pinag-uusapan natin?
Well, I'm not talking about
Positioning
local.
relations,
That's why the Asian financial crisis was not local. It is an international event. Every country
Yes,
was
but our
affected.
policy
Trade was
it
affected.
is local, di ba?
It's not local. It is international. We're not the one only being
International
affected.
yung crisis.
International.
But how
nga.
did we survive?
How we survived?
Oh.
First and foremost, the policies of the government with regards to finances.
Exactly.
Secondly,
who did that?
the government has
Is it-
created
is it-
our,
Is it an international policy or is it our policy we created for ourselves?
well, the policy to avert these kinds of menace
then that's
or
not
problems
positioning.
will be
That's
coming
not
within the
your
government.
decision. Nagets mo ba
The
yun?
decision was from the government. That's why we are unscathed. The banks were saved.
So ngayon, Joan, kaya nag-interject kanina kasi alam ko na mawawala eh. Alam ko na mawawala.
Hindi ako nagwawala.
No.
Ang sinasabi ko sa'yo,
Mawawala.
may it
The
be
positioning that we are
tinatawag na
talking
an
about-
international
No.
crisis.
Wait lang, Yuan. The positioning that we are talking about is our position in relation to a global power. Yun yung start ng conversation natin eh, di ba? Yun yung start ng conversation natin.
Yes.
Ngayon, sabi mo, because of our positioning, which means positioning with the global superpower, it bought us time. And so what I said is, I do not really see that as something very special for the Philippines as a country. Because our global positioning with superpowers fuck us up as a country. Now, I said several examples na kung bakit hindi yun maganda. Kasi nag-reflect doon sa development natin. Atrasado tayo dahil sa kakahimod natin ng puwet ng Amerikano. We're not really getting the full potential of our country. Ngayon, ang sinasabi mo, ang evidence ng positioning,
One
na
of
hindi
the
maganda,
not
ito,
evidence, an
ito,
example of the way the government
no,
works.
ayun yung napabago-bago na tayo eh.
Hindi, binigay ko lang Asian financial crisis because I'm giving you how the government of the Philippines acts on it. and averts a bigger problem.
Has it something to do with positioning with global power? Yes or
Yes,
no?
because the internal
Okay,
policies of the
doon tayo.
government reflects its
Answer
action.
how is our positioning that time with global power help us?
Well, because the Asian financial crisis, I'm giving an example. You have to give me time to explain it. You know, the Asian financial crisis was a devastating event. It affected Europe and the United States.
We know.
And not only the United States, even the Southeast Asian nations, and let's say the South America and different parts of the countries all around the world. It's a big event.
We know, Yuan. Yes.
Yeah. So does it even the United States
So where's
Treasury?
the positioning with global superpower that help us?
Yes, because we have to adjust policies within us before we can reflect our position to the world. That's why the banks were saved, the industries were saved.
And what save us is our positioning with global superpower save us, or is it our banking system that saved us?
No, the Banco
Answer.
Central is an international also organization. It's a member of the
Kaya
international
nga tayo
organization.
na-awardan noon the best banking system because of that. Because the
Yes,
Philippines
because we
is
have
one of the
to
best
defend
banking
ourselves with the
system.
reverberated actions
So
of
it is
financial
us.
losses.
Ang dami mong palabok yung Hindi ka na nagiging.
Wala akong palabok, hindi mo naiintindihan yung sinasabi ko lang. I'm not here to argue. I'm just telling you, an international event, especially that, should act within its country first.
It's an international event. Lahat tayo naiintindihan natin, international event siya. Wala naman
Oo nga, sinasabi ko nga sa'yo, kasi nga, dinideduce mo sa akin na local yon. Kailangan mo na mag-act na locally ang country before it has a position.
Ang gulong kausap.
Hindi nyo naiintindihan kasi yung
Asian financial crisis
policies.
kasama yung North America sa Europe. Ano ba? Natutukan tayo, hindi totoo yun. Asian financial crisis sa Southeast Asia na apektado noon. Nung time na yun.
Ay, nako. You have to understand yung point of
Again,
view ko.
hindi ka bumabalik. Wala ka na na-explain yun. I'm so sorry. Wala ka na na-explain. Sinasabi mo, international siya. Walang problema, international siya. At tinatanong ko, yung solution natin.
Yes, there were solutions.
Was our solution to that problem is a result of our global positioning with the superpower?
Yes, because it was
How?
considered a good decision from the Philippines. It was adopted by several central banks. And at the same time, it is global.
Tayo nga nakaisip ng solusyon Ano ba?
Kaya nga, that's why nireflect nila yung actions ng mga central banks to prevent another disaster financially.
Alam mo, yun yung magandang nagawa ng Pilipinas. Actually, yun yung magandang
Maraming nagawa magandang Pilipinas
Oo.
kasi masyado natin we are
kasi
only
global
looking
position,
within
global
ourselves,
superpower,
not
how
in
did
science. We don't know the reverberation of our actions, especially during the pandemic itself. Time and time again, in an issue which is very crucial to every country, we are saved by our own positioning of our internal issues and reflect it to the international community.
I think this conversation is not going anywhere, Yuan. I'm so sorry. This conversation is not going anywhere. You are
Okay.
changing your meaning as we go along. That is not our conversation. That was not your proposition nung una pa lang. So I think you must also be intellectually honest on what you really meant by global positioning. Kasi ngayon, yeah, it is a positioning, but it is a local policy made in the Philippines during the time of crisis. Kaya nga iba yung result sa atin, iba yung result ng ibang bansa Kasi iba yung local policy natin
Yes, I know that. But
But are we talking about local positioning here? Hindi naman, kaya nga yung sinasabi ko sa'yo na parang hindi yata akma yung Asian financial crisis para sabihin mo doon sa international positioning
I'm
natin.
just giving the Asian financial crisis
Oh,
as
hindi na
one of the
Hindi akma.
examples how we affect international
Hindi
policies.
Hindi akma, Yuan.
Paano
Hindi akma
hindi
doon sa unang-
akma? It was
Hindi
done
akma
also by
Global,
all
ang
central
global
banks all
positioning is
around the
foreign
world.
relations.
Hindi naman. Local yung policy dun sa financial crisis. Ano ba naman?
Paano magiging local yun? In-adapt ng mga
Ikaw na nga
central banks.
nagsabi, inadapt. Inadapt nila. Yung policy natin, inadapt nila.
And that is
Problema natin, no?
and that is a positive way of influencing superpowers.
Yuan, I think dahil lang nakakita ka ng ibang bansa, so feeling mo international na agad. Hindi ganun.
Hindi siya, alam mo, paano ka makaka-conjure up ng global positioning and at the same time policies if you don't even practice the policy within the local mo na country. You have to first induce a
Again,
local
answer the
policy before the policy can be accepted internationally.
What saved us dun sa 1997? 1997 ba yung tinutukoy mo? Or yung kay Gloria time?
It was a Gloria time.
Oh, Gloria time. Ayan. Kasi yan yung bumagsak yung mga brokerage firm sa US.
Yes, several banks. Lehman
What
Brothers was
saved
down.
us during that time? What
Sachs.
saved us during that time?
Sachs was destroyed.
What saved us during that time?
Banks in London that were hundreds of years
What
old
saved
were
us during that time? What saved the Philippines from that crisis?
How could you? We have to the policies of the Philippines together with the Bangko Sentral of the Philippines and the everybody else.
And everybody else. So what is the policy of everybody else that helped the Philippines?
No, it's about within the government.
It's about within the
Bangko
government.
Sentral, everybody conjured up with a policy with regards to banking.
Wait lang. Para dire-diretso tayo, Yuan. Ikaw na nagsabi, it is within the government. Then, paano papasok yung sinabi mo? Na global
Then in the government should also before you implement a policy that will be adopted by other people from different
If they're
countries.
going to adapt it, they can adapt it.
You have to have a policy with an action first, a microcosm of your policy.
If they're going to adapt it, Yuan, the other country, if they're going to adapt it or not, it's up to them.
Well, they adapt it because hindi ka naman pwede magbigay ng policy internationally kung hindi mo rin ginagawa. At you don't have an experience of it. There is no result. Before you put any idea, you have to practice the idea.
Doesn't make sense anymore. Wala nang umiikot na lang eh.
Hindi ako
Kung tayo
umiikot.
gagawa ng ganyan, anong kokopyahin ng ibang bansa? Ganun na lang yung sinasabi mo eh.
Hindi. Ang sinasabi ko, in-implement dito yung policy muna in local before you share it to the international community.
Oo, ngayon, paano kung hindi kinopya ng international, ng iba?
Kinopya nila. It was effective. We survived the financial crisis. Kung magaling masyadong Singapore, bakit bumagsak din ang mga bangko niya? Kung mahirap ang Pilipinas at walang tatangat ng mga Pilipino, bakit di bumagsak yung mga bangko natin?
Irrelevant na, red herring na.
It's not irrelevant. It is true and it is a testimony on this.
Focus on the topic. Filipino Leaks, you wanted to say something?
Yes po. Sa paper kasi na sinulat mismo ng Japan, released in 1997. Now, there are two main reasons why the Philippines survived during the Asian financial crisis. Number one po yung exports po natin kasi malakas tayo sa exporting at that time. Second po, yung OFW remittance which was already mentioned by Ma'am Joie. And they also highlighted din yung magandang financial system at that time. So, yun.
Well,
Japan na mismo sa research nila nagsabi. But never...
Not only that.
Dahil sa position natin for any foreign policy. Kasi makikita mo naman in JSTOR, another paper, na wala tayong magandang continuity sa mga policy natin. For every presidential term, bago-bago ng mga policies ang politicians natin.
Ako may question din ako, Ate Joie, kung pwede.
Oh dear.
Kasi, ang pagkakaintindi ko sa conversation, wala akong masyadong background. I just want to ask question, no? Kasi ang umpisa kasi nung parang usapan is how does the global superpowers affect our decision regarding something or sa lahat. Tapos sabi ni Ate Joie na dahil sa global position natin na fucked up tayo. Tapos in terms of financial crisis kasi, ang tanong ko kasi dito, does the global power affect us during our decision making on how to solve the financial crisis? May ba sila? May contribution ba sila? O may input ba sila? Kasi kung wala, ibig sabihin, it doesn't, walang positioning na nangyari. Bagkus, ang global, ang mundo, nag-position towards our strategy. Kasi parang sila yung nag-adapt eh. Hindi tayo yung yun nga, pero ang point kasi doon.
Sabi sa inyo, Juan, itong example mo na ito, hindi siya akma dun sa naunang part ng conversation.
Kasi yun yung tinatanong natin, Joey. Yes, we affect everyone else internationally. Pero ang tanong kasi dito, does the global power during that time affect us to come up with this solution? Kaso kasi, hindi ang nangyari. Ang nangyari, we made it a local, then our strategy strategy realized by the international body, tapos inadapt nila. So, ibig
It was
sabihin, we
recognized.
influence them.
We were awarded as the best banking system in the world.
Yes, we did.
So, we are influenced. Hindi tayo yung global
Hindi
positioning.
tayo na-influence. We influence their action because
Yes,
our
pero-
action resulted to a positive
Wait
action.
lang. Yuan, I will give you
Result.
time to speak. Wait lang. Hindi yun in-award dahil sinabihan tayo ng global power na, oh, you do this in your banking system. We did it.
We did it.
Oh.
So that is influence.
Bakit yung ano mo? I mean,
That is influence.
Hindi
In
siya-
action.
Joy,
Yo,
I wanna-
hindi walang global power na nag-influence sa atin to come up with that decision kasi we made it ourselves. So, ibig
Yes,
sabihin,
but our
yun nga,
action
pero
itself
wala ka na- I mean,
was
so hindi na
used
yan bagay
to
sa
avert
ano,
the
position ng conversation
financial
natin.
It
crisis.
defeats your point na the globe we are in a global positioning. May effect yung pagiging global position natin sa mga superpowers to come up with that solution. Pero hindi ang nangyari dito. We made our own local. So the global wala yung global positioning na sinasabi mo with the superpowers. So ibig sabihin tayo yun. So it
No,
doesn't matter.
nagkakamali ka doon kasi ang sinabi ko lang is a small example of which.
Yuan,
it's just a
I wanna-
Wala ka na
Take it
nga
as evidence, Yuan. Please do not lie. Yes, si Haya, go ahead.
Ms. Joy,
I'm
I
not
want to
lying.
clarify. Parang nagigets ko kasi yung what Yuan is trying to say when he made that example. So, are you trying to tell us na our global positioning when it comes to China, kasi yung topic is China, di ba? So,
Yes.
our global positioning with China by leaning towards the US, like what we are doing now, is similar to what we is a way for us to influence other countries, ganun ba? So that they can
It is a
also.
strategic way of doing that.
So that's what you mean by pointing out the example of the financial crisis, Asian financial crisis.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay,
We have to
so-
have an action first.
Okay,
that we can
okay,
avert
Yuan.
a certain problem.
Okay.
Itong practice assertive transparency is by Ray Powell, an American.
Okay.
That's his.
I'm very well versed on that.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Because I'm looking at it right now. Nakasabi dito, build international support. Right? So you're trying to tell us, now we will influence other countries and the rest of the world to go against China by being influenced by the US.
First and foremost, the issue of the Philippines was settled in the United Nations. It was given to that issue
No.
to be there was a stance of the Philippines that China has occupied.
Teka lang, yung sinabi ni si Haya, yung nakita niyo yung parallelism doon sa parang feeling ko si Haya, parang even, napaka-kind mo to stretch it that way. Napaka-kind mo to stretch it that way, but I think it's too much stretch. Pagka yung parang, dahil ba sa ginawa natin sa Asian financial crisis, tapos i-extend mo doon sa, kumbaga parang, I think si Haya was very, very considerate to accommodate the idea.
Yes,
But,
the last question was that about the
parang for me, apples and oranges pa rin eh.
Ang laki ng difference ng financial crisis and a military crisis.
but
I like
still
the-
it is a crisis.
Yeah, but that financial crisis will not bomb people.
It also decimated people. A lot of people. People lost their houses, jobs, industries was destroyed, banks closed down. A lot of individuals were affected
You won't die of hunger.
Marami masyado ng
because there are
ganyan.
different kinds of war. A financial war,
Masyado na
a
maraming
trading
ganyan
war,
tayo,
a civil war, and a world war. It's still a war.
Well, I'd like to remind you, yung practice assertive transparency ni Ray Powell is yung objective nila is to deter and defeat. So when
Deter and defeat.
deter China, so what is that? Defeat, right? We'll go to war. You like that?
But that
How
is
old-
not the policy of the Philippine government.
You and how old are you?
I don't like to say that. I know.
Are you ready to be
Why?
to be part of the war? Kasi lalaki ka, diba?
Yes,
I mean, that's a real possibility.
yes,
So you're ready to fight for the Philippines.
yes, I am.
O, di ikaw mamatay. Leave us alone here. We want to live in peace.
Wala akong sinasabi doon. That is my responsibility to the Philippines. That I will defend the Philippines.
Well, as a citizen of the Philippines, our responsibility is to maintain peace and order in
No.
this country. this
Kaya,
region
kailangan
No,
natin ipatanggol
to
ang
fight
Pilipinas
wars.
kung sa taas tayo.
Yeah, I'm
nasa
going to
KL
fight for the
tayo.
Philippines for its war, not somebody else's.
Yes. It's still war.
It's still, no, different yun, Yuan. Hindi yun parehas.
Hindi naman, ang sinasabi ko doon, kasi ang sinabi sa akin ni
Magka-ipag-ustad
Haya,
natin,
are you
magka-yes.
ready to
Yes.
defend the Philippines?
ma'am.
Yes, I am. Because that is my responsibility as a citizen of this
Well,
country.
but I don't think you understand your responsibility very well. We are talking about different wars here. Ayun.
Well,
Anyway, ayun, Mami
Okay.
Laika, you wanted to say something?
Ano, nagdadok ako. Bakit gusto nila ng gera?
wala naman may gusto ng gera.
At di ba nga ngayon, pinag-uusapan ninyo, parang at yung policy ng US, at influence tayo, sinusunod natin, which is willing tayo makipaggera sa China. Yun lang ba ang paraan para masettle yung issue?
Hindi pa naman tayo nakikipaggera sa China.
Sabi nga ni Darwin Miss Laika na ano daw, ba't daw gera diretso, hindi naman daw ganun. Eh, paano? Eh, they're trying to provoke China, and China is kind of mobilizing. So, paano kung kakagat yung China? Anong gagawin
Actually,
natin?
sila kumakagat na. Yung sa South China, yung gulo ngayon, ano yun? May ano yun, konektado yun doon sa pinagsabi ni BBM sa Australia.
Yun nga, Miss Laika, yung objective nila is deter and defeat. So, kung paano kung hindi natin madideter, ano yung defeat? So, sinasabi nilang, oh, we're not heading to war. So, ano yung defeat? Mag-ano
that is
tayo?
the idea in the United States. That's why they offer.
Ayan yung, that's the
United
policy we
States.
are following, Yuan. If you are not informed, that is the policy our country is following right now.
We
So,
are
ano
still
yan,
in
magbabluff lang
negotiations
tayo,
with our foreign
ganun.
policy with China.
No, ang tawag dito, I think yung, I do not want to give more time to you, kasi,
It's okay.
may pagka-dishonest alam mo yon.
I'm
May
not
pagka-dishonest yung
I'm
yung,
answering specifically what
you're not answering specifically. So, ayun,
it's okay.
I do not
I
know.
don't mind.
Just your last point, and then I'm going to give the floor to someone else's.
I would rather go down to prevent others from, being pestered about. Thank you very much for
Ano,
that.
when it comes to our national security kasi nakaka-raise ng dugo eh. Kasi this is something we cannot avoid. Like we can avoid the pandemic, no, with our own like yung individual natin decisions natin. But when it comes to a war, for example, it will affect everything.
Oo. Saka hindi mo ginusto yan, hindi mo desisyon yan, pero apektado ka. Alam mo yon? At kahit anong iwas mo, hindi yan parang pandemic na pwede kang personally, pwede kang umiwas or pwede kang gumawa ng paraan para wag kang mahawa. Ang gera, wala kang magagawa. Damay at damay ka. Kasi kasarinlan ng Pilipinas ang ikaw may nagdesisyon makipaggera sa China. Di ba? So,
Anyway, ayun.
oo, sa akin okay lang kung sinasakop tayo ng China, pero kung agawan ng mga bato sa mga islang o pagkalayo-layo rito, baka may ibang paraan, hindi gera. Diba?
Correct.
Miss Laika kasi ang lakas nilang I mean, they gave up Sabah. Yan lang.
O diba parang, bakit yung Sabah? Hindi tayo ganyan kaingay sa Sabah. Diba? Bakit doon sa mga bahura sa South China Sea, ganito tayo kalala na parang,
Sa Sabah, sovereignty issue talaga yun. Sovereignty issue talaga. At may mga namatay ng Pinoy. Diba? May patayan ang naganap doon. Pagkatapos, kaya nga sa akin, parang gusto nyo makapagpatayo, kasi paglalaban lang natin ng bansa, kinahimik, ganyan. Bibilib ako sa tapang ninyo kung lahat ng bansa, mayroon tayong sovereignty issue, gaganyan ninyo din. Gusto nyo palang mamatay. Papatay kayo sa lahat ng bansang involved. Wag lang sa China.
anyway, isa pa yan sa even si SAS. Pagpalagay na natin, magaling tayo, at naangkin na natin yung mga bahura niya sa South China Sea. Tingin niyo papayag yung Taiwan saka yung Vietnam? Yung ibang kaagaw? Hindi, kasi hindi lang naman China yung kaagaw natin doon. So, paano na yan?
Tropa yun ni Claude, madam. Mukha nga.
Nakakaloka kami.
May problem.
Ayoko
May
magsalita
problem sa
kasi.
kanila. Ito yung ito yung ito yung mga dishonesty eh. We were talking about positioning within the auspices of an international power. His claim is that by doing so, it bought us time. I said, they didn't give us time. We are delayed. Dahil nasa auspices tayo ng superpower, which is the US, it actually hampered our development. 'Di ba? And then later on, yung global positioning na sinasabi niya is a local policy making, positioning our global policy that is put in an international stage because of a being good example of financial system. Hindi yung global positioning under the auspices of international power. Ganon. Ngayon, Diyos ko po, yung mga ganyan kasi mga obvious na nagsisinong, intellectually dishonest.
Para sa akin, intellectually honest ba yun? O, I don't know, even yung kanina sinabi niya, yung US yung pasimuno ng World War I, narinig ko parang, talaga ba?
Oo.
Parang World War II nga, late na sumali yung US eh. So parang, nagulat ako sa kanya.
Totoo. Ayun parang achievement na last tayong binomba. Parang, Bex! Nauna tayong binomba, last tayong binomba. It doesn't matter. What you are going to count is the recovery and the damage. The damage that we incurred from World War II, have we recovered? Diba? Pagkatapos the audacity to say that, hindi last na tayong binomba dahil sa global position. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Diyos me. Kahit nauna tayong binomba, huli tayong binomba, kulelat pa rin tayo sa Southeast Asia.
And Mr. He wants us to export a military policy that was made for us by the US, not our own.
Not our own. And that is an ultimate puta mentality.
Kaya they are undermining and they are shaming ASEAN ngayon kasi sinasabi nilang useless daw yung ASEAN, and they're saying na ASEAN can't do anything. The reason this region has been so peaceful for the past 20, 30 years is because of ASEAN. And useless yung ASEAN? Like the audacity to say that.
ASEAN is thriving except us. Pinagsasabi.
Kaya they're trying to provoke Malaysia ngayon eh. So it can para makisalid sa claim sa natin sa assertive transparency tactic.
Balik lang ako ulit kasi parang nakaka-interesting yung topic. Kasi I think, kasi parang may nakita ko dito sa content sa TikTok na someone, I don't know kung SG Prime Minister ba yun, na parang nagmumukha tayong guinea pig sa mga ginagawa nating actions ngayon. Kasi sa actions natin ngayon, kung magiging successful yun, gagayahin ng ibang ASEAN countries. Pagka hindi na successful, ayun lang yung kawawa. So parang, mabuti pa yung other ASEAN brothers natin is tahimik lang sila with this issue kasi nga gusto nilang yung neutral lang.
Pretty good observation, Gear, Yung mga kapitbahay natin, what they try to do is to minimize the risk as much as possible. So that is why Indonesia is not committing to the Americans and not committing themselves with the Chinese. They're getting they're doing a really, really good job in balancing what serve their country's interest. Same with other country. 'Di ba? Yung Malaysia, meron din siyang ganung 'di ba? Meron din siyang ganung statement na very
Yes, dito sa TikTok din nakita ko din yung statement ng Malaysia.
Oo, ganyan. They are trying to minimize the risk. In fact, there had been statements from different leaders sa Southeast Asia na they are worried about the Philippines on what we're going to do. Are we going to allow ourselves to be involved in this purported gulo with China? Kasi sila naiintindihan din nila at alam rin nila that if war is going to break, we would be the most devastated country. Alam nila. At ngayon, worried sila kasi kapitbahay nila tayo paano kung umabot sa kanila? 'Di ba? But what are they doing right now? What is the ASEAN doing right now? They do not want to fund the fire. 'Di ba? Nananahimik sila because they are managing the risk. Ang pagkakamali kasi nitong mga to, parang feeling nila, nag-audience lang yung ibang Southeast Asian countries. No, they are already protecting their own ass. Para hindi sila madami sa kagagahan natin.
Yes, actually, our move is their their own defense. Kasi halimbawa mali tayo ng ng campaign or mali tayo ng yung yung policy natin.
Oh, yung risk natin 50-50, di ba?
Oo.
50-50 patay buhay eh. Ganun yung natin, patay
Yeah.
buhay, impyerno. Ganun yung natin, ay, pag nag-succeed tayo, kumbaga parang, hindi, may chance naman na may mag-succeed eh. Hindi, may chance naman na patay tayo lahat eh. Di ba? We do not want to manage our risk. Diyos ko.
Alam mo, minsan totoo lang para sa akin, mautak yung Vietnam saka Indonesia. Tamo kasi
Sorry.
sila, minamaximize nila yung relationship nila sa China. Hindi sila nagka-commit sa US. Binabala nila tayo, parang, alam mo parang, kasi if ever, ginagawa nila tayong
Guinea pig.
litmus paper. Oo, yun, guinea pig o
Guinea pig.
litmus paper, na parang, tingnan ko nga to, pag itong Pilipinas, bumongga to, saka ako papasok. Alam mo
Ito
yun?
yung sinabi ni,
Pag hindi bumongga, at least sila na paano, ako hindi. So,
It's like-
nagagamit tayo ng Indonesia, saka ng Vietnam, ginagawa tayong dipping stick.
that is very
Lipstick.
true. Kaya nagalit sa sinabi ni President Anwar, or Prime Minister Anwar ba yun? Sinabi niya, right now, China seems to be the leading investor in Malaysia. We do not have a problem with China. We are an independent nation. We are fiercely independent. We do not want to be dictated by any force. So while we remain an important friend to the United States and Europe and here in Australia, they should not preclude us from being friendly to one of our important neighbors, precisely China. If they
Oh.
have problems with China, they should not impose it upon us. We do not have a problem with China.
Alam mo si Hala, after pandemic, isa tayo sa pinaka may chance para mag-survive, para makabangon uli. At hindi ko alam kung ano bang problema ng gobyernong to. Bakit gumagawa ng gusot para madirili tayo? Unlike Indonesia, alam niyo din, papasulong na sila and then pandemic, medyo na-discarrel. Pero ngayon, gusto nila ituloy-tuloy. So, hindi makakatulong kung magko-concentrate ka muna dyan sa gulong yan. As much as possible, payapain mo muna, relax, chill.
Actually, yan yung naalala ko na naman yung policy ni Pilots. Kasi, feeling ko kasi yung sinabi ni, nung Malaysian, parang lang din, parang echo lang din nung, dapat ito yung ginawa ng Philippines para at least kahit paano ma-maintain niya, tapos ma-utilize niya or ma-maximize niya yung relationship nung lahat ng nakapalibot sa kanya, pati yung US at saka China. No? At least kahit paano, sila yung nagde-dictate ng foreign policy nila at saka walang nakikialam.